Hello, everyone. A very good afternoon to all. As you're aware, SGTech has been appointed by IMDA to run the vendor briefing sessions from May 2019. SME Go Digital program is a national program administered by IMDA, together with sector agencies to support digitalizations for SMEs across 22 sectors as specified in the industry transformation maps. In today's briefing, we will cover the SME landscape, highlights of the SME Go Digital program, focusing on the enhanced pre-approval process, then a short sharing by SGTech on how we can help you and the industry on this program. Lastly, there will be an FAQ and Q&A before we end today's briefing at 5. So first, the SME landscape. Today, SMEs constitute 99% of the local enterprises, which make up about 2/3 of the national workforce and contribute to about 50% of the GDP. So what is the definition of an SME? Based on Enterprise Singapore's definition, a company group's annual sales turnover should not be more than 100 million, or company group's employment size should not be more than 200 workers. Major concerns encountered by SMEs in their respective businesses are rising costs, especially for businesses in the sectors which require rental of physical space, high turnover of staff, and that staff might not have sufficient knowledge or are not tech-savvy enough to handle complex software. The whole gist of SME Go Digital program is to make going digital as simple as these 3 steps. First of all, SMEs can access digital readiness of their businesses using the Industry Digital Plan. This is a step-by-step guide that helps SMEs to assess and adopt suitable digital solutions depending on the stages or readiness of their businesses. Support from consultancy services like Digital Hub at Digital Tech Hub has retired, and it will be succeeded by the Chief Technology Officer as a Service, a one-stop web application. Next, IMDA will guide SMEs to take the first steps with useful industry knowledge. Then you, as a vendor, would know what are the solutions needed and what are the new sectors to be added in. As such, your SME customers are able to adopt specially pre-approved digital solutions for the respective sectors, and best part of it is that it will come with grant support. Regarding point 3, where can your SMEs customers get help? They can approach SME centers for free business-related consultancy. Also, just to add, Start Digital, which was launched in Jan 2019, is meant to help guide new startups on the type of digital solution they should take on. It is a joint collaboration with IMDA, telcos, and banks. So these 3 steps are the end-to-end process which SMEs can reference to start their digitalization journey. Currently, we have a total of 20 IDPs for 20 ITM sectors launched to date, with the latest Precision Engineering IDP launched in November 2021. The Industry Digital Plan, IDP for short, is a step-by-step guide for SMEs. Within IDP, solutions are articulated across 3 different stages of business growth. The categorization of solutions for respective stages are based on global trending and validation studies with the sector agencies and industry to map out the type of solutions required by the businesses. This is so that SMEs are able to spot the solution which they need based on their stage of business growth. This is an example of the digital roadmap developed for the retail sector. For a start, every retail company will need to adopt some basic technologies to stay competitive. We call those stage 1 technologies. These technologies will enable retail companies to automate operations and the use of resources. One example is the integrated point of sale. Okay, so after SMEs know what types of solutions they require, they can choose from a list of pre-approved solutions for the respective sectors that they can adopt hassle-free depending on their areas of need. SME customers are then able to enjoy funding support. Pre-approved solutions are pre-scoped with software subscription, hardware, professional services, and training required for automation of their operations. SMEs can apply for a pre-approved solution through Business Grant Portal at the start and start the implementation with selected solution provider after the sector agency has approved the application. Currently, we have identified a demand from 22 sectors, and therefore we are looking for digital solutions to meet the requirements of those sectors on the supply side. We are looking for proven solutions, and they should meet the criteria defined in the checklist. The latest sector-specified solutions included in the list is healthcare. If your sector is not represented, but you have a solution that corresponds to the criteria listed in the checklist, we welcome your submissions. Besides the sector requirements, there are also digital capability requirements that apply to all sectors. These are digital capabilities like cybersecurity, data analytics, PDP, and IoT to ensure completeness and robustness of the proposed solutions. This is an overview of the vendor assessment checklist. There are 3 areas that IMDA is looking for in your submission. First, a proven track record, a positive net equity in your company's latest financial statement. 5, satisfied customers on contractual agreement that have used the solution for an extended period of more than 6 months. And also that your company has sufficient resources to handle the volume of implementation requests from the industry. Desired features of your solution, and if your solution has the ability to meet the sector requirements. For example, a vendor providing HRMS solution needs to adhere to IRA's tax policies, such as the Auto Inclusion Scheme. Accounting solutions, on the other hand, need to be listed on IRA's accounting software register prior to pre-approval. Please make sure you have this in place before submission. And if your solution generates, sends, receives digital invoices, then it needs to be PEPL ready, which is the e-invoicing standard for solutions which create and update invoices and manage sales transactions to facilitate a seamless and faster process through adherence of a standard digital format. Lastly, your solution also needs to be cloud-based. Standards and best practices. IMDA would also check if your solution can meet the industry's standards and best practices, such as, does your company have a trust mark for personal data protection? Examples of solutions which collect personal unique identifiers are mainly HRMS, workforce management systems, and visitor management systems. Also, the security VA for solutions which contain personal unique identifier, example NIC, to ensure any security loopholes are being addressed. Next, I'd like to hand the time to Dominic, who will share with us about the data protection trust mark. Dominic, over to you.
Right.
Dominic, I think you're on mute.
Okay, this happens. Right? You saw me gaslighting for quite some time. Sorry everyone. Hi, my name is Dominic. I am from IMDA's Data Protection Certification team, and I'm happy to share very briefly on our Data Protection Trust Mark. This certification, it is a voluntary enterprise-wide certification launched in 2019 as a way for organizations, for SMEs, to demonstrate that they have accountable and responsible data protection practices. Right? So there are it is something that is useful, and there are 5 benefits that you can enjoy if you're Trustmark certified. So very briefly, first and foremost, it will provide assurance to you that you are in compliance with the PDPA. It will allow you to demonstrate that your practices, your policies and your practices are in compliance with the PDPA, providing you the assurance. And thus, it will also help you to raise your business competitiveness in the digital economy. Our Trustmark certified companies, a lot of them are SMEs, and they have shared that the Trustmark has helped them to provide them that additional business advantage when it comes to securing contracts. And this Trustmark is slowly becoming a government requirement in some of the ICT tenders. For some of you here, you may have seen this appearing in some of the ICT tenders from the government. And this is something that is going to happen. It's going to increase. And thirdly, it will strengthen consumers' trust. Consumers on the way you manage personal data. And number 4, it would allow you to demonstrate accountability to regulators. Okay, so if you have the trust mark, if you're certified, and if you encounter a data breach, you can request from the PDPC, the regulators, the option of undertaking, okay, in lieu of any investigation. And last but not least, because this certification is administered by the government of Singapore, it enjoys a reputation, quality control, rule of law, and it will provide assurance to your overseas partners, overseas consumers, as well as the regulators. So feel free to ask me any questions on this, happy to address them, and do take a look at our website right here. Thank you for this time, and I'll hand this time back to Manoj. Manoj, please.
Thank you, Dominic. So let me go through the steps of pre-approval processes. Vendor briefing to understand the requirements. After you have attended, then you will proceed to the checklist stage. A gentle reminder that you must submit the completed checklist within 3 months of your company's attendance at the vendor briefing. Step 2 to step 3 is the checklist stage, where you need to tell us your solution is what IMDA is looking for. Do a pre-assessment of your proposed solution using the vendor self-assessment checklist to check that it fulfills the criteria that the respective sector is looking for. After which, you will need to submit the checklist and with all the stated supporting documents. After IMDA has received the complete set of documents, and if you met all the requirements, they will invite you for a tech demo session together with a sector lead to further showcase your solutions. Just to highlight, the lead time from step 2 to step 3 is dependent on when you can submit the completed checklist. Step 4, if your solution is shortlisted, you'll be issued an application form to apply. At this stage, IMDA will then guide you on how to bundle your solution into price packages. Why you need to do that? It is so that your SME customers can adopt the solution as hassle-free as possible. You may be aware that the Productivity Solution Grant supports companies keen on adopting IT solutions and equipment to enhance business processes. Hence, the pricing of the package must cater to micro SMEs and SMEs for easy adoption. The component scope for the package have to be based on the purchase pattern of your customers, and the price has to be before GST. Then, step 5, once the application is approved, IMDA will officially issue a letter of appointment for a period of 12 months. Then you can start to sell to your SMEs with grant support. Once again, the prices that you state on the application form must be before GST. The next step is to accept the letter of appointment. Do note that the lead time for step 4 to step 5 is about 2 to 3 months. And finally, your solution will be published on the website. Important things to note: only submissions through the pre-approval system will be accepted. So please ensure the company's authorized representative is assigned to the e-service before using SingPass to access the system. The user guide of the system is available on IMDA website. You can scan the QR code to download a copy as a reference. If you encounter any technical issues, please take screenshots and provide IMDA a detailed explanation of the issues to send via the email address stated on the login page. From 11 April 2021, you will be required to log into government digital services for businesses using SingPass instead of CorpPass. For more information, please visit go.gov.sg/corporate-login. For SingPass and the e-service assigned to your authorized rep, authorized rep needs to create a new profile. Now, both the checklist and application must be submitted through the system. The system will not accept your checklist if you have not attended vendor briefing within the last 3 months. If you cannot finish the submission in one go, you can save them as a draft to resume later. Mandatory fields are denoted with a red asterisk, and they must be keyed in before you can make a submission. When the sector-specific criteria is updated, the e-form via the system is also updated. This is a hyperlink that will bring you to IMDA's website. You can download the checklist, then leave the main spreadsheet empty and go directly to the sector-specific ones. Once you complete the sector-specific spreadsheets, you can then upload it to the system. Supporting documents submitted must stick to IMDA's file naming convention. For example, please name your financial statement file as highlighted in red. To upload, click on Add Financial Statement, and then a pop-up window will appear. You will then upload the file via this pop-up window. If your SME customers are still in doubt, they can approach SME Center, which is operated by the various trade associations and chambers to get free business consultancy, depending on the area of business. For Chief Technology Officer as a service, SMEs can utilize the web application to access their digital readiness and digitalization needs, or reach out to a shared pool of skilled CTOs for SMEs that need in-depth digital advisory. I'll now hand over the time to Kuo Wen from IMDA to share more of this in detail.
Thanks, Manoj. Let me share the screen. Okay, so CTO as a service is a new initiative and added to the SMEs Go Digital program. So we aim to support the broad-based SMEs to digitally transform themselves at scale. And we created this one-stop platform. It's a web application for the SMEs to access the digitalization resources at any time and from anywhere. The SMEs can self-assess their digital readiness and also the digitization needs, and also have the quick access to the market-proven and cost-effective digital solutions, including the PSG solutions. And also the CTO as a service provides the quick access to a shared pool of digital consultants. So if the SME require additional support in terms of the digital advisory and project management support, then they can request digital consultant services from our operators. IMDA has appointed 2 digital consultant services operators. They are Accenture and Stoneforest, and then our SMEs can choose whichever they prefer. Now I will walk through the CTO as a service user journey. All our SMEs will start the user journey by accessing the web application. Either they can access on their own or they can be assisted by our touchpoints partners like our SME centers or even the pre-approval vendors. And then the web application will invite the SMEs to provide some information on their business profile and do a quick self-assessment on the digital readiness. And with the information provided by the SMEs, the web application will share some insights on how the SMEs can learn from their peers, which maybe they have already successfully transformed themselves. It's like a case study. And also the web app will provide a list of recommended digital solutions for the SMEs to consider to adopt. Upon this stage, the SMEs can decide whether they need additional support from the digital consultants. If the SME think they have already found what they need and they don't need additional support, then they can go and contact the solution vendor, apply for the relevant grant, and engage the vendor for implementation. Otherwise, the SMEs can request for the digital consultant services by selecting the preferred operator from the web application. And then the web application will forward the service request to the selected operator. With the operator, the SME can first sign up for the digital advisory service, where our digital consultant will guide the SME in terms of the tailor the digital solution roadmap or the training roadmap, and also to recommend the suitable solution to address specific business needs. If the SME decide to proceed with the implementation, then they can apply for the grant. At the same time, the SME can sign up for the project management support. And then our digital consultant will work with the SME and also the solution vendor to project manage the solution implementation. At the end of the user journey, the SME will be invited to complete a short satisfaction survey for us to improve for the next phase. And there are two types of digital consultant services the SMEs can get from our operator. The first one is the digital advisory. So the SMEs can tap on the our digital consultants to deepen their understanding in terms of the digitization needs and also the priorities, and also to tailor the digital solution and training roadmap. And also with the guidance from the consultant, the SME should be able to also incorporate the necessary cybersecurity and data protection measures to safeguard their operations. And if the SME decide to proceed with the implementation, then they can go to the next stage, is the project management support, where our digital consultant will help them project manage the implementation end-to-end from the very beginning, develop the implementation plan until the system go live. And also our consultant will help the SMEs on the business process re-engineering and the job redesign if needed with the introduction of the digital solutions. And all the digital consultant services will be provided at no cost to our eligible SMEs for the first time usage of the digital advisory, followed by the project management. In terms of the eligibility, it will be quite similar to the PSG. The SMEs need to register and operate in Singapore and then have minimum 30% local shareholding. The annual turnover does not exceed 100 million, or the group size does not exceed 200 employees. And also they haven't used the digital consultant services before. This is the homepage of the CTO as a Service web app. And here is the link. You may scan the QR code to try out our web application. Yeah, that's all about my sharing on the CTO as a Service. Back to you, Manoj.
Thank you, Bowen. I'll just leave this slide now for a minute if you need to scan the QR code. Right. Next, I'll share about Invoice now. IMDA implemented the nationwide e-invoicing network in early 2019. It's not, however, a purely Singapore-based network. It's been around for more than 12 years, adopted across more than 30 countries, and transacting over 100 million transactions annually. It's probably the most mature cross-border network of its kind. The pandemic has taught us how important it is to have such a fundamental business function, such as invoicing, to be digitalized. And so this initiative aims to streamline your business operations, increase accuracy, in which turn reduces unnecessary rework, improve cash flow, and of course, contributing to the nation's achieving its goal as a green economy. In Jan 2020, AGD, which is the central office for all invoices to government, ministries, and agencies, was included into the network, and that gives all 22,000 government suppliers a preferred way to send invoices. It helps businesses improve efficiency, reduce costs, facilitate cross-border business transactions, enjoy faster payment, and reduce usage of paper invoices. In Jan 2020, AGD is also on the network, and this gives government suppliers a way to send invoices via the network. Invoice Now was announced in September 2020 during the Future Economic Conference. Today, if you think about paying a person or a business quickly and digitally, the first thing that comes to mind is PayNow. PayNow saw a tremendous growth as the go-to method of sending money, and similarly, there has been a large uptake in businesses using e-invoicing. Thus, e-invoicing has been rebranded to Invoice Now to further emphasize the relationship between e-payment and e-invoicing. IMDA is delighted to partner with DBS, OCBC, UOB, along with the Association of Banks in Singapore, to develop solutions which provide a flow to these basic functions. This process will allow an invoice that is sent through Invoice Now to be paid through the popular e-payment channel PayNow. By linking these solutions together, the process is now 3 simple steps. When the vendor and customer is on board a network, all the vendor needs to do is send an invoice via Invoice Now to the UEN of their customer. Upon receiving the invoice, the customer verifies it, and if they choose to, they send a PayNow payment to the vendor. The vendor is notified of the payment and the process is complete. While the journey above may be more reflective of an SME journey, we recognize that different companies will have different needs. To address these different needs, there are over 80 IMDA pre-approved service providers who offer Invoice Now capabilities. This means whether you are a large or small company, there is an Invoice Now service provider for you. Over time, we look forward to more service providers connecting their Invoice Now solutions to e-payment channels like PayNow and extending these benefits across all businesses. This infographic is a showcase of how Invoice Now works when an e-invoice is sent from the seller to the buyer, step 1 to step 2, and how the invoice can be quickly processed by the buyer and paid by various e-payment methods, such as PayNow to the seller in step 3. Let's watch the promotional video, Benefits of Invoice Now.
Great! Business is going well, work is getting delivered, and you're already planning to expand. But you wouldn't get the cash flow you need without invoicing. So you spend hours manually preparing paper invoices only for your client to lose it or have it rejected because of mistakes, which would cause delayed payments that will slow your business down. But with Invoice Now, you can now get paid faster. With it, you can send e-invoices directly to your clients via the nationwide e-invoicing network with existing solutions. Just activate Invoice Now on your PEPL Ready solution. Now, create your invoice. Select your client's PEPL ID. Key in your invoice details, and you're good to go. Paperless, effortless, and seamless. Your invoice will be able to reach all businesses on the entire network. And with Invoice Now standardized format, your clients will be able to process invoices and payments quicker too. That means you can enjoy smoother invoicing, faster payments, and a great way to save the environment. Join the network and grow your business today. Invoice Now. Get paid faster.
Hope that video gives you a clearer picture of how Invoice Now works on the business end. To further clarify what is and is not Invoice Now, when businesses are on the network, Invoice Now allows one party using a finance solution to send invoices straight into the other party's different accounting ERP system without manual intervention such as printing the invoice or keying it in, which means the receiving end just needs to look and verify that the line items are indeed what has been ordered or purchased and send it to accounts payable. Next, I'll briefly share about the PEPL network. This initiative operates on the international PEPL network. What you see here is an ecosystem where the businesses are on the outermost circle and are connected by business systems, which are PEPL-ready solutions. PEPL-ready solution providers are connected by access point providers. An access point is essentially the gateway to the PEPL network. We currently have more than 30 access points, and they each signed an agreement with IMDA, the PEPL authority. For a solution to be PEPL-ready, they can select one of the 30 access point providers and work with them to get your solution ready. Once the businesses are on the network, they are able to send and receive invoices to each other. And that's what PEPL is and how Invoice Now operates. To summarize the benefits of voice now from the video and throughout the presentation. Streamlined process to reduce manual inputs with system-to-system transmission. It allows for faster payment and less use of printing or PDF invoices, creating a greener business. Here are the criteria to become a PEPL-ready solution provider. PEPL-ready solution providers are platforms such as accounting or enterprise resource planning systems, which provide Invoice Now features. For more information, you can go to the link here or write into einvoice@imda.gov.sg. Next, I'd like to introduce Mr. Dutch Ng, who is part of our SME Go Digital committee in SGTech. He will elaborate on how SGTech can help you and the industry on this program. Dutch, over to you.
Thank you, Manoj. Give me a minute. Hi, good afternoon. Another month has come by. Great to see every one of you well and good today. My name is Dutch Ng, part of the SGTech SME Go Digital committees. To our old friends and assisting members of SGTech, it's nice to have you with us again. To our new friends who are unfamiliar with what SGTech does, that give me a brief introduction. SGTech is a premium trade association from tech industry in Singapore. We have close to 1,000 corporate members, ranging from innovative startups, vibrant and small, medium-sized enterprises to top MNCs, whom we are representing and articulating any technology industry concern to relevant authorities and stakeholders. SGTech strives to create an ecosystem that anticipates trends and develop sustainable initiatives to strengthen our community and help the ICT industry to grow. We accept membership applications from both Singapore-based companies and overseas companies. Advocate for the industry, SGTech serves as an active voice for the tech industry by actively and responsibly advocating for change while remaining a trusted and respected partner of the government. Support Singapore agenda for technology. SGTech contribute to tech industry growth and transformation through national programs and initiatives that drive and enhance Singapore economy. The three key roles that what we are doing: a business enabler, as a neutral platform and aggregator for the tech industry. We have various platforms and create opportunities for our members. A responsible voice. We run sessions with various government industry to provide feedback and give suggestions on how we can help the industry. As for industry insight, we provide knowledge and intel on updates and news so that members will be more aware of the rapid changes that they could adapt it quickly. To coordinate the needs of the subsector within the ICT space, we have formed industry chapters and committees to support strategic and emerging sector. We have classified chapters into the tech verticals and non-tech horizontal. Under the tech verticals, we have AI and high-performance computing chapter, cloud and data, cyber security, and for the non-tech horizontal, we have digital transformation chapter, Singapore Enterprise, and Smart Nation chapter. Companies that join SGTech as a member can choose which chapter they prefer to be involved. Each chapter will plan activities and initiatives to engage the chapter members and the industry. Not only the chapter, SGTech also spin-off committees to cater to emerging industry needs. For example, 123 Jumpstart Committee caters to the young startup companies. Gaming and education technology are gaining traction. We have also formed these two committees to cater for the needs. Other committees are blockchain committees, data center, data protection, digital trust, government procurement, SME Go Digital, which we are today, talent and capability committees. New chapter and committee will be launched in response to the technology industry continued growth and requirement If you need to know more about SGTech, please write to the SGTech Secretariat at membership@sgtech.org.sg. I repeat, membership@sgtech.org.sg. We wanted to share more on this initiative, as in the past, we received feedback from vendors stating that appreciate assistance in establishing business and technology partnership that can help to expand their offering and customer base. So with Tech Partner, here are the things that we can achieve. First, the technology partnership. This refers to identify a partner whose solution can match and complement your needs to cater for client projects. Next, reseller and distribution partnership. You can find a partner who can distribute your solution, or you can find new solutions to expand your portfolio. Another possible outcome in a strategic partnership, meaning forming a strategic alliance in new product development or for market expansion. As this list is not exhaustive, and we may also request for other forms of partnership that can help add value to your business. Do talk to our secretary later if you want to find out more about this tech partner. SME Go Digital, this committee was set up in line with the SGTech mission to contribute to the tech industrial growth and transformation through national program and initiative that drive digitalization and enhance our Singapore economy. Other than organizing the monthly briefing that you are attending right now, the committee also plans a series of events together with the 6th chapter for networking and sharing of what has to enhance your solution. Organized tech series will include Go Cloud Native, Tech Partner, which I mentioned in my previous slide, outreach session, work closely with other trade associations to provide network of potential customers, or even roundtable sharing of experiences of being a pre-approved vendor. So, for those who are interested in the membership at SGTech, please do scan your QR code on the screen. As for attendees of today's briefing, we are extending additional 10% discount on membership fees if you sign up within a week. I would like to thank our partner, IMDA, SGD Singapore Digital, for supporting this webinar. I hope that you find this information helpful for your organization. I wish you a fruitful webinar ahead. Thank you. Back to you, Manoj.
Thank you, Dutch. Next, I'd like to pass the time to Annabelle, who will be sharing with us more about SingPass. Annabelle, over to you.
Thank you, Manoj. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Annabelle from the SingPass Industry Engagement Office, and I'll be here to share with you about SingPass and how you can incorporate it into your digitalization plans to empower your business. Next. SingPass is Singapore's national digital identity and was created to improve the lives of citizens and create opportunities for businesses. It is more than just a digital credential. For citizens, it provides them with a convenient and secure way to transact with businesses and government agencies, and as well as ready access to their personal information on the go. And not just that, businesses can leverage onto SingPass' digital ecosystem of trust to ultimately improve customer experience. Thus, what we have done here is building a platform of products that businesses, your organization, can easily integrate with. Next. We have 6 SingPass products, and the gateway to these services are through the Citizens SingPass mobile app. With MyInfo, you can acquire customers with data from government sources. For login, you can leverage onto our passwordless login authentication to allow your customers to access your online services. For Verify, this is more for verification of your customer's identity at physical premises. We also have Sign, which will offer a more secure way of digital signing to your end customers. We have Identiface, which is also known as facial verification. So this provides businesses an additional or alternative way of verifying a person's identity with their consent. And with just a customer's NRIC or PIN number, and of course, their consent, they can simply scan their face to be authenticated against the government's biometric database. And lastly, we have Authorize, our latest product. This API allows you to notify and seek remote authorization from your customers. I will elaborate more on our key products in my upcoming slides. Next. So for our first product, MyInfo. With MyInfo, manual form filling is a thing of the past. It is a consent-based data sharing platform of which customers can authorize businesses to retrieve their data via SingPass. And in turn, businesses can be confident that the data obtained comes from government sources. So what does it mean for you? You will be able to perform eKYC efficiently upon obtaining explicit consent from your customers, and thus faster turnaround time for online applications. This can also improve customer experience by providing increased convenience for them, as the data is automatically retrieved and populated onto your digital applications. This can also increase productivity and provide cost savings for yourself. Next. The results do speak for itself. Businesses have reported higher usage from their customers, increase in approvals due to better data quality, reduction in transaction time, and ultimately satisfied customers as the entire process is streamlined for them. Next. So now let's talk about SingPass login. Before I elaborate more, do allow me to show you a quick video on our passwordless login flow. Next. Next, thank you. So as seen in the video previously, with SingPass login, the users do not need to remember a different set of credentials as the authentication process is done through the SingPass mobile app. Login is convenient for citizens as they will only need to use their own SingPass account to have access to a multitude of services across different sectors. So how does it benefit you? Businesses can leverage onto the SingPass authentication system without needing to build one on their own. And you will also have available access to SingPass mobile app users who are already familiar with how SingPass login works. Next. So move on to our next product, Verify. Next. Verify allows businesses to authenticate customers through physical roadshows, contact centers, or retail outlets. So how it works is that the customers will scan a QR code on site through the SingPass mobile app, and upon providing consent to the organization, the data will be passed over to the system and the customer is registered immediately. They do not need to present their physical NRIC for verification, as this can be done through the SingPass mobile app. This facilitates the collection of personal data and of course reduces waiting time on their end. And thus, your organization will be able to provide to your customers a seamless registration process. Next. So to date, Verify is currently in use by different sectors, such as healthcare, we talk about polyclinics, we also have real estate and charities, and this has enabled them to register their customers on site quickly. Next. So I'll move on to Sign with SingPass. Next. So for Sign with SingPass, you can start offering digital signing to your customers. So how it works is that the customers will scan a QR code embedded in your document with the SingPass mobile app, and a reference code will show up on both the document and the mobile app. The customer will then verify that the reference code matches and authenticates their signing with their biometric verification. And that's it. It is a fairly quick and straightforward process. What happens here is that we have authenticated the identity of the signer using SingPass, and because they consented, their digital identity is then binded to the document, thereby proving that the document is indeed signed by the customers. You can choose to integrate Sign with SingPass with your own document management systems or use it together with the solutions provided by our digital signing partners. We do work with a few signing partners who have already pre-integrated Sign with SingPass onto their platform to help businesses like you to roll out digital signing with SingPass. Next. So what makes Sign with SingPass stand out? First of all, the signature comes with a high level of assurance as it provides proof of the signing party's identity and integrity. The digital signature is also recognized under Singapore Court of Law, as signatures made with Sign with SingPass will be regarded as secure electronic signatures under the Singapore's Electronic Transactions Act. And next, by leveraging onto SingPass, another one, your organizations can enjoy cost savings from elimination of paper and related processes, as everything is done seamlessly online. Next. So with our suite of SingPass products, we can help your organization increase your customer acquisition rapidly. From easy and quick passwordless login to your service, to increase convenience for your customers with hassle-free form filling with MyInfo. SingPass can also assist with your customer registration at physical premises with Verify. And if you do want to do away with physical signing, you can also look at Sign with SingPass for digital signing. You can work with our existing partners and tap onto their pre-integrated solutions for your digital service. Next. So with SingPass as a digital enabler to empower your business, we do hope that these products can help accelerate the digitalization of your organization. If you're keen to integrate with SingPass or wish to find out more in depth about how SingPass can help you, please take a moment to scan a QR code or visit the link sent in the chat box. In the form, you can indicate your interest in the various SingPass products and share with us on how you think these products can be incorporated into your customer journey. Upon submission of interest, my colleagues and I from the Industrial Engagement Office will reach out to you to share about the onboarding journey and address any other questions that you may have. Or if not, you can also leave one in the Q&A below. So we hope that we can speak with you soon. Thank you. Back to you, Manoj.
Thank you, Annabelle. We've now come to the FAQ segment of the briefing. Before we open the floor to questions, let me go through the common FAQs we have received. First question, my solution is a proven solution used by many MNCs, government agencies, and or SMEs from other countries for many years. But I do not have 5 local customers, like local SME customers. Can I submit my solution for pre-approval? Can I submit satisfied customers from my MNC, government agency, or SMEs from other countries? The answer is no. You'll need to provide customer references from your local SME customers. As part of the evaluation process, we need to assess if your solution can fully meet the needs of local SMEs and that your company has the necessary track record in serving local SMEs. Next question, does the business nature of the 5 satisfied customers has to be from the same sector of the checklist submission? The answer is yes. The objective of 5 satisfied customers is to ascertain your solution is proven in the particular sector, and customers whom have used your solutions are happy on the productivity benefits. Question 3. My solution has been very established overseas but has yet to launch locally. Would my overseas clients be qualified as part of satisfied customers? The answer is no. The 5 satisfied customers' submission have to demonstrate their solutions are implemented locally. Next question. How long must the satisfied SMEs be using my solutions before they are qualified to fill up the customer satisfaction survey? It would depend on the solution and the nature of the usage. Customers should have sufficient time to use and verify all the major functionalities of the solution, especially the mandatory features indicated in the checklist. Question 5. My solution is a software as a service base that anyone in the world can sign up and use, including SMEs in Singapore. I have more than 5 satisfied Singapore SME customers. My company can provide 24/7 by 365 days customer support, phone support, and email from outside Singapore. Can I submit my solution for pre-approval? Is no. Currently, we are unable to pre-approve solution vendors that have no presence in Singapore. You must either set up a local office or partner a local reseller to offer your solution. Your local office or partner may submit the solution for pre-approval if it meets all the mandatory requirements stated in the vendor self-assessment checklist. Next question. My solution meets the requirements of multiple solution categories in the vendor assessment checklist. Which checklist should I submit? Or can I submit more than one solution for pre-approval? If your solution meets the requirements of multiple solution categories, you may choose to submit multiple vendor self-assessment checklists for your solution to be pre-approved under the respective solution categories. Each submitted checklist must come with its own set of supporting documents as specified in the checklist, such as 5 satisfied customer surveys and invoices. Question 7. The solution is widely utilized by SMEs in many industries, but is not listed in any solution categories in the checklist. Is my solution eligible to be pre-approved under the SME Go Digital program? IMDA works with respective sector agencies to curate the type of digital solutions which benefit the SMEs within the industry. As long as your solution fulfills the criteria stated within the checklist, we welcome your checklist submissions with all the supporting documents. Next question, is hardware bundled within the packages applicable for grant? In general, commodity hardware such as desktop computer, laptops, or tablets that is widely available for purchase in the market is not supportable by the grant. In some solution categories, specialized hardware needed for the solution to properly function may be supportable, such as vehicle tracking device and fleet management solutions, video camera in surveillance and analytics, and retail analytics solutions, sensors in bin monitoring and management solutions. Question 9. I'm a reseller of a proven solution and it's already pre-approved under PSG. Can I still participate in the program? Answer is yes. We are looking at track records of both solution and service support rendered by the digital solution provider. Principal solution provider may be an appointed vendor with the same solution. You can still participate in the SME Go Digital program as long as onboard requirements are fulfilled. Question 10. My company doesn't require audited financial statements. Would management accounts be sufficient for submission? Answer is yes. Please provide the endorsed management accounts with company stamp and ACRA director signature. Next question. My company is incorporated for less than a year. Can I submit the financial statement of the parent company instead? Answer is yes, as long as your company is fully owned by the parent company. Next question. What is the definition of positive net equity? The net equity is the total assets minus total liabilities in the latest audited financial statement or endorsed management account have to demonstrate positive value. Okay, so that's all for the FAQs. If you want to refer to the FAQs again, they are available on the SGD website at sgd.org.sg. The recording of today's briefing will also be made on the website, and we have recently updated the MCQ form for registering your attendance when you watch the recorded vendor briefing. So before your session, please ensure all these points are addressed. Ensure that you're using the latest version of the completed checklist. Ensure all the tabs within the vendor assessment checklist are filled up with supporting notes to ascertain the features of proposed solution. Ensure 3 years of financial statements are submitted. A positive net equity in the latest statement is mandatory. If your company is incorporated for less than 3 years, you can just submit all the audited financial statements to date and to complete your submission. Ensure only one solution category of the sector-specific tab is to be filled up. For reapplication, previously submitted 5 satisfied customers cannot be reused. Lastly, ensure that your company details are filled up correctly in the SME Go Digital pre-approved system. By failing to fulfill the above points without any valid reason, will attribute to the delay in processing your submission. So please make sure you check those. To recap, this is the onboarding requirement to get your pre-approved solution approved by IMDA. With effect from now, all new contracts will be approved to a 1+1 year contract appointment. After you get approval, your solution will be listed on the business grant portal for your SME customer to apply for grant support. You can ask your SME customer to find out about their eligibility by contacting the number stated or email directly for advice. Now, before we go into the Q&A, I'd like to hand over the time to Dana from IMDA who will first demonstrate how to fill up the vendor self-assessment checklist and share about the important requirements for pre-approval. Dana, over to you.
Thanks, Manoj. Hello, everyone. My name is Dana, and I'm part of the pre-approval team for the last couple of years. Quite happy to be back on another vendor briefing session. Before we jump into the Q&A session, I thought I'll just briefly share some of the key points that the vendors will have to remember when they submit their checklist. Because if your checklist and the supporting documents are in order, we can actually process your case much faster. Otherwise, there will be a back and forth communication between IMDA and vendors. Okay, so the required documents, mandatory set of documents. The first one obviously is the vendor self-assessment checklist, which is an Excel document with 7 tabs. So I'll share that in a minute. The second one is the solution brochure. You can supply a PDF document or screenshots of your solution, or even any video recordings of your solution, so that we can match against the requirements criteria listed in the checklist. As Manoj explained a little earlier, 5 satisfied customer surveys are mandatory, along with their corresponding invoices. Invoices being the very first implementation, not the recurring invoices, if you are selling a SaaS product. And the fourth important consideration is the vulnerability assessment report. This is not really mandatory for all the solution categories, but those categories which capture customer information, like the NRIC number, phone number, email address, like a CRM system. Vulnerability assessment is important. You will have to engage a CREST certified cybersecurity solution provider and ensure your solution is very safe. Okay, and obviously the financial statements, which includes the balance sheet, income statement, and the cash flow statements of the past 3 years. I know some of the vendors are yet to complete their audit for 2021. You can still pull out the record from your accounting system and get one of the directors to sign and send it to IMDA. Okay, and we also expect all the vendors to be registered on the PayPal network, and hopefully you can supply the PayPal ID of your organization as well. Next slide, please, Manoj. Okay, so this is the vendor self-assessment checklist that I talked about a little earlier. There are close to 7 tabs. The main tab is where you would provide more information about your organization, your team size, and your tech support process. Do you have a dedicated hotline? What are the support hours? Do you provide support during public holidays, weekends, and so on and so forth? So the more information, the better. Okay. Next slide, please, Manoj. Okay, so when you prepare your checklist, make sure you are preparing a checklist for each solution category. Okay, so you have to fill one checklist for one application. Let's say you take the very first one, which is HRMS here. So let's say you are offering a HRMS solution. You submit one set of supporting documents and one checklist for that submission. Let's say you are selling another product, which is HR e-scheduling software. You have to make another application, another vendor self-assessment checklist. Okay, next slide, please. Right, so this is the most important tab in the checklist, where we highlight, list down all the mandatory criteria. You will see in the 5th column, where it has been mentioned that whether the requirement is mandatory or preferred. So for mandatory requirements, we expect the solution to offer that functionality. Okay, it is a functionality that we are actually talking about. The screen design, the charts, the reports could actually vary. We actually leave it to the vendors. But as a functionality, as a feature, we expect that to be found in the solution. Next slide, please. Yeah, so as I mentioned, solution categories will have both mandatory and preferred. You need not have to skip those preferred requirements. We expect vendors to provide innovative and solutions that differentiate from other vendors, because mandatory is pretty common for all the vendors. So we encourage vendors to offer something extra, probably meeting some of the preferred requirements, so that you can actually differentiate yourself from the in the marketplace. Next slide, please. Okay, so the satisfied SME surveys. So one of the key consideration is the solution should have been used by the SME for at least 6 months and within the last 18 months time period. So this is an extremely important criteria. We want to ensure the solution has gained traction in the marketplace and it has been used for a considerable amount of time before we can, recommend that solution for the large base of SMEs. Okay, and the 5 satisfied SMEs should not be related to each other. Sometimes, we see surveys from 2 companies, but both the companies have the same director, right? So these are all related companies or subsidiaries or sister organizations. So it has to be a very unique SME. Yeah, so this is one key consideration as well. And SME Go Digital's program is actually meant for for-profit organizations. So SMEs who are for-profit organizations. So the 5 satisfied customers should meet this criteria as well. And we have a generic sector, and we also have specific sectors like food services, retail, environmental services, etc. So if you are applying for a solution category under, let's say, retail, all 5 customers should actually belong to retail sector. And how do we check that? We check based on the SSIC code. The SSIC code is actually listed in the checklist document in the first tab under the instruction tab. You can clearly see what are the list of SSIC codes that the SME has to be part of. Okay. Yeah. Next slide, please. In the surveys, we sometimes notice there is a difference between the solution name listed in the survey against, let's say, the invoice and against the checklist that the vendor is submitting. So please ensure all 3 copies are aligned. It is talking about the same product and the same version number. And in the surveys, there are a bunch of productivity indicators. We expect the SME to fill those details. Vendors can actually guide them how to arrive at those numbers. We have actually pre-populated with some sample data. So please make sure those are replaced with actual data from the SME. And if you are applying for e-commerce solution category or digital marketing category, please ensure you list the websites that you have developed or websites that you have promoted through your marketing initiatives, so that IMDA can actually validate them. Okay, the next slide, please. Okay, so invoices is another important supporting document that you will submit. Please make sure all of these items are captured there and very clear. We do see some of the invoices are just one-liner, and IMDA officers wouldn't be able to break down the pricing based on these 5 categories, whether it is how much is the software component and what is the cost for hardware, professional services, and training, etc. Yeah, so please make sure your invoice is aligned with this particular format. Next slide, please. Okay, so some of the terms and conditions of our program. When we pre-approve your solution, you will usually receive 4 documents. One is the letter of appointment. Another one is the program terms and conditions. Third one is the SME Go Digital's program guide. And fourth one is the Annex 3 document, which is your final approved package and price. So we have clearly listed down all the terms and conditions, the do's and don'ts. So we urge the vendors to actually read through all of these documents. And I've got three important clauses which I would like to remind is that, see, IMDA's role is to work closely with vendors like you and evaluate and pre-approve those solutions. But the actual funding comes from Enterprise Singapore, okay? And the SMEs will have to work directly with Enterprise Singapore in the PSG application and the claims process. So we do not want vendors to interfere in the PSG application process. Okay, yeah. Next slide, please. And another common issue which we hear quite a lot from our colleagues in Enterprise Singapore is that the actual invoice submitted by the SMEs doesn't match the pre-approved Annex 3 document. Okay, so probably the salesperson in the vendor organization didn't really follow the Annex 3 format, or he probably changed a couple of lines in the invoice. That may potentially get the application rejected for SME. So that could actually delay the project deliverables and even the time to claim the grant. Yeah. So we encourage vendors to convert your Annex 3 packages as draft quotations and save it in your CRM system or in your accounting system. Save them as draft quotations, and then you can request your sales reps to simply duplicate those draft quotations and issue to the SMEs. That way, there won't be any new changes or unwanted changes being introduced in the quotations and invoices. Okay, yeah. Next slide, please, Manoj. Okay, so I'm sure many of you might be already aware of this. So the PSG support was enhanced because of the pandemic up to 80%, and that is expiring by today. Okay, so except for the food services and the retail sector, all of the other sectors will be eligible for 70% of support starting from tomorrow. Okay, so we request the vendors to update all their literature, their websites, brochures, and other marketing collateral to comply with this guideline. Okay, yeah. Next slide, please. Okay, so I think I'm done with the checklist and the supporting documents. Over to you, Manoj.